I don't know if you're a Commanders fan, how you celebrated yesterday. And hopefully you did celebrate. And you had reason to celebrate because it became official. Josh Harris is now taking over the Commanders. And you couple that with Daniel Snyder. Come on down. The commissioner would like to talk to you. You're going to be fined $60 million for some of the things happening on the way out. Now, how does that work? How does that work with him being fined $60 million? Do they take it off the sale price, or does he have to send a check to the commissioner? I'll give you the official documentation on this. And I had been saying, look, Daniel Snyder's gone but not forgotten. You did an investigation. I want that investigation to see the light of day. And here we are the next day, and it happened. The NFL fined Dan Snyder $60 million after an independent investigator concluded he sexually harassed a team employee and that the team withheld revenue from the NFL. So Mary Jo White, the attorney who led the investigation, told the league's owners about her findings. This was yesterday. Now, her findings broke at the same time it was announced that the owners had unanimously approved the sale of the Commanders to Josh Harris for $6 billion. The fine against Snyder represents 1% of the sale price, in case you're wondering how they came up with the math there. This was a 17-month investigation. Daniel Snyder really was lacking cooperation here, although there was a 1-hour interview he did with investigators, but he pretty much tried to stonewall. Roger Goodell said the league was satisfied with the outcome. The findings speak for themselves. I did feel bad for the new owner, Josh Harris. You get your NFL team, spend $6 billion. Yesterday should have been about you. But if I'm a Commanders fan, man, I had a great day yesterday. Ding dong, the witch is dead. Daniel Snyder. Now, he's going to face real charges, like criminal charges here. He's defrauding the other owners and revenue, withholding revenue, cooking the books here. Like there's a whole lot going on here. More than just, hey, you got $6 billion for your team. But there's some other issues going on there with Daniel Snyder. Yes, Paul?
I read through a bunch of the stories. It's unclear how Daniel Snyder has to pay the fine, because if he's no longer the owner, he would not be under the NFL's watch, I guess. Yeah. And it's an NFL fine, not like a court of law fine. But, he only met with the investigator for an hour and repeatedly said, I have no recollection of that.
Of course he has no recollection of that. Oh, my God.
Yeah. This is, if you're a Washington fan, I'm just going to call him Washington.
And by the way, I guess the new owner wants to change the nickname.
Yeah, there is
But can he?
Yes and no. There's a rule in place that supposedly you're not supposed to change your team name.
Not supposed to.
Not supposed to. There's a rule for 5 years after the previous name change.
Okay.
That said, they changed the name twice in five.
So they went Redskins, the Washington Football Club, and then they went Commanders.
Yes, and I looked it up. The Washington Football Club was kind of a holding pattern until a full name was decided upon. So that's how they skirted.
Although I did love that.
Yeah.
I love that name. Like, you stood alone. It was like, yeah, we're the Washington Football Club.
Couple 7-9 seasons with that Washington football team.
Yeah, they were inspired.
If you're Roger Goodell, do you wink at it and say,
yes,
forget that rule, Josh Harris, work with the league, work with your fan base?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. We want to eradicate any remnants of Daniel Snyder. Yes,
And just the fact that Commanders is super lame.
Okay.
That's a terrible name. Terrible.
Okay.
Washington football team was great because it was just so basic. But Commanders, that's awful.
Paulie uses Commander quite a bit. When you don't know somebody's name?
Back at the mothership, there'd be a lot of bros in the hallways, a lot of 6-foot white guys walking around. And if I didn't know your name, I'm like, hey, what's up, sport? What's up, boss?
Hey, Commander.
Which I'm surprised I didn't get punched in the face.
Hey, Commander.
And once in a while, like, hey, Commander, what's going on?
I would rather, let's put it this way. Let's say your team could have a big-time free agent or a new owner. Like, let's say you're the New York Knicks, and you could get Fred VanVleet, or you could get a new owner.
Oh.
Like, you're taking a new owner in a second.
Knicks fans, yes.
Yes. Well, let me make it. How about somebody bigger than Fred Van Vliet? Yes, Todd.
How about Dame or new owner?
Okay.
Let's make it really
okay, Dame Lillard,
Yeah, that's better.
or you get rid of your owner. I got to think for the bigger picture, long haul, I want a new owner in there. I would love to have Dame Lillard, but if I can get a new owner in there, absolutely. It's like with the Commanders. If you could have gotten, I don't know, throw out a big-time name there, or you could have got rid of Daniel Snyder. Aside from Patrick Mahomes, I would want to get rid of Daniel Snyder. He's been terrible. Terrible for the league, terrible for that fan base, and terrible for owners in general, that he was allowed to continue this. And it felt like he had information on other owners, and he was willing to spill. If you're calling me out, just be careful, because I can call you out as well. And it felt like the NFL knew what was going on, but chose to look the other way. That's just my feeling. I have no information on that. That's just the feeling I've always had. We know what's going on over there. Nothing we can do. Yeah, Paulie.
Jay Gruden was on a thing called the Kevin Sheehan Show, the former coach there, Jay Gruden. Yeah. And he said he wasn't experienced, Daniel Snyder, but he was making personnel decisions, final decisions on who to draft, who to sign, with admittedly not watching tape on any of these players. Like, hey, let's draft this quarterback.
Even if Daniel Snyder's looking at film.
I don't want him looking at
No, this is the problem. You make money, you're buying something, let people run it who know how to run it, not you. This is not your level of expertise. I'm thinking of getting involved in some of the personnel moves here. No, it's bad. Very bad. Here is the new owner of the Commanders, Josh Harris.
This franchise is part of who I am and who I've become as a person. But being a fan is not enough. To be successful, we understand that we need to win championships, create a positive impact on the community, and create incredible memories and great experiences for our fan base, much like I had as a youth growing up in Washington.
All right. Local guy makes good. Made his money, got another sports franchise. You got Magic Johnson in there as well. Yeah, Paul.
Yeah, he's from Chevy Chase, Maryland. He's 58 years old. You want to walk in following that guy. I mean, you walk in now, you could almost do no wrong for the next couple of years.
Yeah, I would think you're on scholarship for a little.
Good coach.
Yeah. But, how long's the honeymoon? 2 years? 3 years? Give you a little bit longer than that. A decade after Daniel Snyder. All right, Seton, what's the poll question today?
Is there a way to word it where would you rather your team get a big free agent or a new owner? Lots of people might be happy with their owner.
Well, how many owners are we talking about that you might want to get rid of? Basically, the Knicks and the Commanders. Is there anybody else in there that's kind of like maybe that he shouldn't be the owner?
Googling worst owners in sports. Hold on, please.
Yeah, Paul.
I'm wondering, and I hate to pile on, but if Cowboys fans had a fan vote. Jerry Jones spends money. He gave you this great stadium. He really cares about his team. However, by being the GM simultaneously, it is a flawed concept down there.
Yes, Marvin.
Yeah, it's not a new owner, new GM. They want to keep him as owner because, look, he cares about the Cowboys winning.
Yeah.
But they're just like, we just don't want you as the GM. Owner, yes. GM, no.
And just because you played, defensive lineman at Arkansas doesn't mean you should be making draft picks there. You're a billionaire, and you however you did that with your oil or gas or whatever it is. But being a defensive lineman doesn't mean that you're qualified to make these picks as a GM. As an owner, you write the checks. GM, you got to make the picks.